Alex, come on. Alex, listen. Let's have a conversation.
I am having
no, you're not.
You don't answer my question.
No, we are. We're trying to.
What you're doing is you're giving these primary school level questions. No, primary school level questions.
Well, I'm not hearing anything.
Well, this is what I'm saying to you. So you want this is what? Sorry, what was your name?
Alex.
What I'm
Imran. Abass.
What?
I'm gonna go and pray. But let's have a conversation.
We are, but you're not answering.
No, but hold on a second, Alex. The questions that you ask, you may feel should be answered in a yes or no.
Yeah.
And not all questions can be answered in a yes or no.
Okay, I hear that.
So let him answer the question.
But one thing quickly, you're asking me where do I get my morality from?
What's your basis for your morality?
Okay, and my experience of morality is something that I just know. It's inherent. I know.
Well, that's fine.
Okay.
Right. So now you.
All right.
That's the first level of your answer.
Yeah.
I just know this.
A mother knows how to love her child, doesn't she?
She does.
She doesn't need the Quran.
She just knows it. So
does she need the Quran to know how to love her child?
These are the emotive sort of type of questions.
No, these not emotional. This is just a fact. A lot of women have children, but they don't need a book to know how to, or a father to know how to.
So do you think that the people? Do you think that we're saying? Do you think as a Muslim, I'm saying to you that the reason the mother loves a child is because it's written in the book? Exactly.
So the whole point that things are inherent.
So Alex, hear what you're saying. No one is making the argument to you that the reason we do things is because it's written in the book. That is not the argument. And if you're and this is the whole thing you've come with is in your book, and that's why you do it.
Okay.
That doesn't make sense.
That's what I was hearing.
Absolutely.
Okay, so explain to me then.
That as a fundamental basis for a discussion, you're talking about something else.
Okay, go on.
We're talking about where does your morality come from. Now you revert to a book straight away. That's not what we're talking about.
Morality from the Quran. No,
we don't get it from a book.
Okay.
So the question here is, the morality has to have a basis. And I'll give you an example. You're an atheist, agnostic, where do you put yourself? It's useful to discussion, isn't it? If I'm talking to another theist, if I'm talking to a theist, then there's a different discussion that needs to be had.
Does it matter?
Of course it matters.
I'm human.
You're human. Great, I'm human as well. That doesn't tell us anything in terms of where our positions are.
It does. We have this. Okay, I'm a nowist.
Yeah. So this is. If you're going to be ridiculous about it, that's fine.
Can you hear yourself?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
So this is why I say you've made up something called a nowist.
I made up something.
And now you're telling me.
All I know is that this is what is.
All right.
Okay. So this is my belief. This is my belief. Is what exists is now.
Yeah. So
there's nothing outside of this moment.
There is nothing outside of this moment.
No.
All right. Okay.
There's no future and there's no past. There's the eternal present.
Okay.
So I'm a nowist.
Okay. So whatever goes now is fine. Yeah.
No, it's just what is. You'll only ever know now.
Okay, so whatever goes now is fine, right?
I think it can be fine or it can be painful. It can be pleasurable or painful.
So then in that now moment, what's the point? What moral judgments can you make?
Okay, well, in that the now moment expresses itself through duality.
No.
Pleasure. I'm trying to explain my faith.
Yeah.
Pleasure, pain, heaven, hell, up,
there's no such thing as heaven and hell.
Dog.
There's only
cat.
now. There's no now.
Well, okay, the principles of heaven. Okay, pleasure, pain. Then if that's. Yeah, whatever works.
So you're talking about the now, isn't it?
Yeah, everything's here. Yeah.
Now.
Okay, let's say there is a heaven or hell, right? Let me. Okay,
you can't give your position as a now and then talk about something.
Let me talk about my belief. If let's say there is a heaven and a hell, it's now. It's not in the future or the past.
Where is it?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
It's hidden behind veils.
Okay. That's like the past and the future.
Yeah, there's no past and future.
Doesn't exist. Okay.
That's one thing I can be sure of.
Okay.
Because I'm a nowist, I'm pretty dogmatic.
Great. Now, so this is what I'm. This is what I mean by. This is what I mean by the ridiculousness of the positions you take. So where did this come from? I started to ask.
Ridiculous.
No, the position that you're not. You're a human being who's a great.
I'm not ridiculous.
I'm sure you're a great, wonderful person, Alex.
That's very sweet.
The point here is I'm talking about. So you're taking everything very personally. I'm talking about the positions you're taking.
All I can do is take things personally. That's all you can do in life.
No, I'm not.
Of course
I haven't taken anything that you said personally.
You have. You got a bit wound up.
Not at all.
Okay.
I'm trying to get you to focus on the actual question.
You want me to be a Muslim? I know. I don't want you to be anything. Just
like,
be yourself.
It's up to you.
It's not though, is it?
It is up to you.
It's not. Because if I don't become a Muslim, I'll burn in hell.
No, but it's up to you.
That's the cudgel you have behind your back.
This is
say, it's okay.
Here we go. This is not the emotive argument. This is like I won't.
With emotion
if I don't go through why don't you go through red lights when you're driving?
Why don't I go through red lights? Because I don't want to get a fine. I don't want to crash into someone. I don't know. Yeah.
So you're going to say that's the cudgel they use, the the acts that they use to sort of make me do these things. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing them.
Some of life is like that, yeah. Okay. Some of life is not so clear. Life is complex, isn't it? Let's have many things.
So let's have a complex discussion. Yeah.
Okay,
So you refuse.
Let's see if you can.
Yeah. So see there we go. So
see, there we go.
There we go. So this all started from me just simply asking you what position do you take.
And I said Nowist, and you laughed at me.
You said it was ridiculous. And then you made up this position just to not have a discussion. So we spent 10 minutes talking about.
I'm not a theist.
Someone who's
I'm not an atheist.
Okay.
And I'm not a Muslim. I'm not a Christian. I'm a Nowist. What's wrong with that?
So in my view, that if you're not a theist, and you're going to bring any moral. Anything that you regard as anything that you regard. Yeah, I was trying to do that 10 minutes ago, but you made up this Nowist issue.
I made up this now, like Muhammad made up Islam.
No, I didn't make it up.
I see that. What's the difference?
So this is the discussion.
How do you know I didn't see an angel earlier, and then he came to me and told me about Nowism?
Did you see an angel earlier on?
I didn't. No.
Okay. Have you got any evidence for that? Okay, so now we're talking about chalk and cheese. You want to ask about
all the religions start with some experience out in the desert or in a cave.
Do they?
Yeah, they do. Buddha was sitting out in the wilderness, wasn't he? He had his enlightenment. Muhammad was in the cave. Moses went up the mountain. Lao Tzu went out somewhere. Everyone, Christ was in the desert.
And then what did they establish? So let's take the Prophet Muhammad. What did he?
I don't know.
What did he bring as an evidence for the position?
People followed. I don't know.
What? Here we go.
Anyway, let's get back to your point.
No, this is the dismissal, and this is the position. This is the arrogant position that people take of dismissing. I'm not emotional. Saying the word arrogant doesn't make me emotional.
You are.
The people who get emotional are the ones who.
I don't mind being emotional. It's quite normal to be an emotional human being.
It's good to be.
It's all right to be. You should try it, man.
Thank you very much.
The point here is this: that you bringing up that they came from the desert or the cave or whatever.
Well, they went. It's always holy men. Always.
Does that inherently make it true or false?
Depends what you believe in. No. You believe in the Quran, it's true, but you don't believe in Jesus.
No. The fact that where it came from or how it came from, does that inherently somehow logically make it true or false?
I don't know. Einstein came up with E equals MC squared without God, and it seems to work quite well.
No, but
right?
your position, or it came from a cave, or it came from a desert, or whatever.
All I'm saying is
look, you're not answering my question. Does that
this
inherently
is
I'll answer your question, but answer this one first. Does it inherently make it true or false as to how it came or where it came from?
Nobody knows.
Okay, so if you don't know, then it's irrelevant to our topic.
I don't know if Muhammad saw an angel in the cave or not. I wasn't there.
You don't know.
You don't know. You weren't there.
Doesn't make it inherently true or false. That's the point. Right. So let's have a meaningful discussion.
I think it's hard to have a meaningful discussion.
No, because I'm a difficult customer. Enjoy the challenge. Come on.
Let's have a meaningful
discussion.
You're
not a customer.
Let's have a meaningful discussion.
Alex is really amusing.
Am I giving you? Is this difficult for you? Am I difficult?
You're not.
No. Well, look, come on. Sometimes you have to have a challenge.
Facetious, comedic, arrogant, maybe.
Alex, for a conversation to be meaningful, we have to engage. And to engage, it means that you hear what the other person says.
Absolutely.
And you respond to it.
Right.
And vice versa.
Okay, let's go from now.
If we constantly interject and just keep throwing things in that are irrelevant to the conversation.
I don't think it have been.
Well, if you say to me, it all came from a desert and a cave.
No, I said holy men, traditionally, most revelations
he's not a theist, not an atheist.
Right, but what's that got to do with what we're talking about?
And
how does it change?
We have to go back to the conversation. I can't remember. We've gone on all kinds of different...
But how does it change the reality of whether it's true or not? That's what I'm trying to say to you.
I don't know if Muhammad's experience was true. I wasn't there.
But regardless of your believing or not believing it, doesn't change whether it happened or it didn't happen.
I don't know if it did. I don't know. It might have. It might have happened.
I'm not saying that it did or it didn't as a consequence. I'm saying you not knowing that whether it did or didn't happen does not change the reality or whether it did or it didn't happen.
I know that.
Okay, so it's irrelevant to our conversation because we're trying to hopefully get to truth.
Okay, go on.
So the point Brother Imran is trying to make to you is unless you have an objective yardstick to measure morality by, it becomes purely fluid, subjective, often nurture and nature, nurture perhaps being more of an overriding force in establishing what is moral or immoral. Would you agree to that?
You have to have something objective.
To be certain of any position.
Okay, so what would that be then?
No, regardless of what that would be, I'm just saying, can you arrive from a purely materialistic basis,
a reality
of objective truth when it comes to morality?
All I know is that I know what I have a morality. It may not be the same as yours.
No, that's fine. That's a different thing altogether. Can we arrive at an objective truth when it comes to morality?
We can have a general consensus, but there's always going to be room for movement.
Consensus.
There's going to be room for movement.
So I agree with you.
Yeah.
That we can have a consensus
Yeah.
of what people generally feel
Yes.
to be moral or immoral.
Well, yes.
And that will change over time, depending upon our nurture
Yes
and
and
our
no,
nature.
generally, I would say that the principles stay the same
Some
mainly.
fundamentals